Hi friends, my name is Millie and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be bringing you my August TBR. So in August, it's kind of a weird month. So I have 2 weeks off of work in August, but although I have 2 weeks off of work, the majority of that is going to be at Taylor Swift. I'm going to Taylor Swift again in August in London. And the dates it falls on are right in the middle of my 2 weeks off, so I'm not sure how much reading I'm going to get done. I know that when I went to the Eras tour in June, I did not get any reading done that weekend, and the dates that I'll be going to Taylor Swift, it's spreading out over about 5 days in total, so that might be 5 days I don't read anything. I'm not sure. Hopefully that's not the case, but yeah, August is going to be weird. Hopefully I'll get a lot of reading done on the days I'm not going to Taylor Swift, and I know that I will have a 5-ish hour train journey, actually 3 5-ish hour train journeys in August, because I'm going to my dad's the very first weekend of August, and then I'll be going again after Taylor Swift. So I'm going to have at least 3 5-hour train journeys, so in theory I should get a lot of reading done, but I don't know. So I've been a bit ambitious with this TBR, but seeing as how I've read, at the time of filming, 24 books in July, which is more than I've read at any other month of this year, I'm hopeful that I will read a lot in August. What I really want to do in August is I really want to do another 24-hour reading challenge. So last weekend I did a 24-hour reading challenge where I read romance for 24 hours, and I finished 10 books in 24 hours. So what I'm hoping is I'll be able to do one of those again. It might not be a romance one, so I might not get as many books finished, but what I really want to do is dedicate a good 2-3 days to reading in August, and hopefully get through a lot of books once again to make up for the Taylor Swift concerts where I probably won't read at all. So let's get into what I want to read. So because I've read a whole ton of romance in July, I'm really in a massive fantasy mood. So I'm reading my next Brandon Sanderson at the minute. I'm reading The Well of Ascension, which is the second book in the first Mistborn era. And I was debating putting The Hero of Ages on my August TBR because that's the next book I've got to read. And I might still read it in August, but obviously I'm only 170th pages into The Well of Ascension, and I have absolutely no idea how it ends at all. So I don't know if I'm going to need a bit of a breather or if I'm going to want to just go straight into it. Absolutely no idea. So it's not on my TBR for this video, but it's a potential that I might read it in August, is The Hero of Ages. But other fantasy books that I want to pick up, the first of which being Dragon Rider by Taran Mafaru. This is the gorgeous proof edition that I was very, very kindly sent by Harper Voyager and never got around to reading. This was published in April, guys. I am for August, 4 months behind on reading this. And I want to know whether I want to get a finished copy. I think I am going to want to, but this proof is stunning. I mean, just look at that dragon, and it's so shiny. I love it. I can't believe I haven't got around to read this. When I got this proof, I squealed. I was so excited to receive it, and I never got around to reading it before publication date. Story of my life. But let's see what this one's about. I always have to read out the synopsis of this one because I can literally never remember what it's about other than that it involves dragons. So here we go. Jay is nothing more than a royal hostage and lowly servant to the empire that slew his family and now rule his people. He served the old emperor for most of his life and only watches on from a distance as the empire grows more powerful. A new alliance is to be formed as the young prince is betrothed to Princess Erika of the Dansk Kingdom, a people from a northern icy realm. The princess brings with her a gift, dragons. Only Dansk royalty can soul bond with these magical beasts to draw on their power and strength. Until now. And I'm pretty sure that Jay, the main character, runs off with the lady's maid or something of the princess, and they take a dragon egg with them. So I'm really excited to get to this. It is huge. It's not as big as Brandon Sanderson, but it is over 550 pages, so it is a whopper, but that's what I'm in the mood for. I want a good, hefty chunk of a fantasy. That's just what I want to be reading right now, so obviously The Well of Ascension is perfect, but so is Dragon Rider, I think. So hopefully I'll get around to reading that. And another big fantasy, and one that is just taking the world by absolute storm. I'm sure you can guess what it is. It also involves dragons. It is When the Moon Hatched by Sarah A. Parker. This has been blowing up absolutely everywhere, and it was blowing up even before it came out, which is why it's disgraceful that I did not read the gorgeous proof edition that I got. And this is the ice edition. I know that there was also a brimstone edition, which is absolutely gorgeous as well, but I'm secretly really glad I got this one. This one's my favourite. This came out in June. Haven't read it. And again, I want to know if I want the finished copy, and I really do think I'm going to, because the finished copy is absolutely stunning. I admire it every time I go into work. But obviously I have a proof edition, so I feel like I should read this before I buy the finished copy, in case I don't need 2 copies, in case I hate it, which I don't think is going to happen, because this is on so many people's favourite books of the year lists. I'm excited. So this is a fantasy romance. I'm pretty sure it's spicy, but I don't know. So in this one, it says, when the moon hatched will transport you into a world filled with magic, dragons, and a love that blazes through the ages. As an assassin for the rebellion, Rave's job is to complete orders and never get caught. When a rival bounty hunter shatters her world, Rave finds herself captured by the Guild of Nobles, a group of powerful fae. Crushed by the loss of his great love, dragon rider Khan Vagor took the head of a king and donned his melted crown. Now on a tireless quest to quell the never-ebbing ache in his chest, that rhymes, a clue lures him into the capital's high-security prison, where he stumbles upon the imprisoned Rave. Together they seek truths that threaten to unravel everything they knew about their world and each other. And just when I was flicking through to find the synopsis, I realised there's a stunning map, but there's also stunning chapter headers, which I don't know why, but chapter headers make me even more excited to read a book, because I just think they're so fun. And to have them in a proof edition is really rare as well, so I really need to read this. The next book that I want to pick up is one that was actually kind of an impulse purchase. I mean, it wasn't, but it was. The reason that I decided to pick this one up, and also the sequel, well, not the sequel, the second book by the author that has recently come out, is because we're actually having the author come in for a signing at our shop on Saturday. So in 2 days for me, not for you. It's probably going to be like a month later. But that is Girl Goddess Queen by B. Fitzgerald. So I've heard amazing things about Girl Goddess Queen, but I'd never felt particularly compelled to pick it up. I don't know why, because it did it win one of the children's book prizes for Waterstones, or it was nominated at least. I've seen amazing things for The End Crowns All, which I also purchased, but this has very pretty sprayed edges. And it's Greek mythology, and I love Greek mythology, so I don't know why I wasn't compelled to pick it up before, but with the offer coming into the shop, I really felt like I needed copies of the books so I could get them personalised. So this one is a Hades and Persephone retelling, and I have absolutely no idea what it's about. So once again, I'm going to be reading into synopsis. I promise I'm going to try not to read the synopsis of every single book on this TBR, but I seem to be picking up books that I know nothing about. But anyway, it's Greek mythology, Hades and Persephone. Thousands of years ago, the gods told a lie. Persephone wasn't taken to hell, she jumped. There was no way she was going to be quietly married off to some smug god. Now she's taking matters into her own hands, with plans that will shake Mount Olympus to its very core, and falling in love with the underworld's rude, arrogant, and incredibly annoying ruler Hades is absolutely not one of them, no matter how good he looks in Torchlight. I'm so excited for that. And the blurb by Sulin Tan on the back, who I love, author of Daughter of the Moon Goddess, says that it brings to life timeless gods, the complex intimacy of family bonds, a fierce protagonist, and a passionate slow burn romance. And all of that sounds right up my street. The next one, I know that I said I was romanced out. However, this is an exception I'm making for this TBR, because it is Love on the Brain by Ali Hazelwood. So as part of my 24-hour reading challenge, I read Not in Love by Ali Hazelwood, which is her latest STEMinist romance release, and that was a 5-star read for me. It was top tier, honestly. It's a really divisive book. I did not realise it was that divisive until I looked at Goodreads reviews after I'd read it. But I loved it, but so many people are saying they hated it. So if you've been nervous to pick it up, I mean, I'm not saying I have the best reading taste in the world, but you can hear from me that I loved it. So if you think that we have similar reading tastes and you've been wanting to pick it up, you're nervous about it, I'm saying go for it. I really enjoyed it. And now Love on the Brain is now the only Ali Hazelwood book that I have not read yet, so I feel like I need to pick it up soon just to complete my Ali Hazelwood reading collection. Until, is it Deep End is the next one that's coming out? I don't know when that's coming out, but I'm really excited for that. This was her second adult romance, and I know that this was actually a 5-star read for Naya because this one is about a neuroscientist. I'm really excited about this. It's about Bea and Levi, who, are they enemies to lovers? I think that they're enemies to lovers, and it's to do with like neuroengineering or neuroscience and NASA possibly. But anyway, it's a STEMness romance, so you know with an Ali Hazelwood STEMness romance that it's going to be a very tall man and a very small girl, and they're going to be obsessed with science. And honestly, I know she writes from a formula, but the formula works for me. The only one that the formula, well actually the only ones that the Ali Hazelwood formula did not work for me on was the collection of novellas, Loathe to Love You. I didn't really enjoy any of those. And The Love Hypothesis was kind of like a 3.5, 4-star read for me. So I enjoyed it, but I didn't love it like everyone else did when it was first blowing up. But Love Theoretically was a 5-star read for me, Not in Love was a 5-star read for me, and Check and Mate was a 5-star read for me, or 4.5 stars. So I'm hopeful that I'll love this one as well. Maybe The Love Hypothesis and Loathe to Love You were just like outliers for me, because other than those, I've enjoyed everything Ali Hazelwood that I've read. So I'm hopeful for Love on the Brain. And then I just realised I actually did put another romance on this TBR, but this one is a bit different. So this one I really need to pick up at the very start of August. It is The Pairing by Casey McQuiston, and I say the very start of August because it's coming out on the 6th of August. So this needs to be my first read of August in order to read it before publication date, because I still can't believe I was lucky enough to receive an ARC edition of a Casey McQuiston book. You know, Casey McQuiston is massive. Red, White and Royal Blue, One Last Stop, I Kiss Shara Wheeler, all amazing books. I love them. And also so popular. So the fact that I got a proof edition blew my mind. And I can't believe I didn't pick it up before August. What is wrong with me? This one is about 2 bisexual exes who accidentally book onto the same European food and wine tour, and they actually end up challenging each other to a hookup competition to prove that they're over each other. And obviously they're not going to be. I'm pretty sure it's second chance romance, is that the trope? Casey McQuiston books are so funny. I love them. The Red, White and Royal Blue is absolutely hilarious. One of the funniest books I've read. So hopefully that same sense of humour will be in The Pairing. And I just feel like it's going to be quite a nice, light, summery read. If the UK weather sorts itself out. If it's summery, then that'll make me want to pick it up. But it's purely the fact that it's literally like autumn outside right now that I'm like, oh, I just want fantasy. This one I really need to pick up at the start of August. Yell at me if I don't. We then have kind of a cozy fantasy. It came out in July, so very recently, so I'm not too late to picking it up. But it is The Spell Shop by Sarah Beth Durst, and I was so excited when I got the proof edition of this, and I'm even more excited now that the finished copies are out because they are stunning, absolutely gorgeous, and I really, really, really want to read it. So I need to pick it up soon. This one is about a woman who works at a magical library, and what happens is that there is a revolution or a rebellion in the city where the library is, and she decides to pack up her sentient houseplant, which is really what sold me on the book, the fact that there's a sentient houseplant, and go back to the island where she grew up. But what she discovers when she goes back is that all of the islands kind of surrounding the bigger one where the city is have not been getting enough magic because it's all been going to the city. So with the magic she's learnt from the library, I don't know if she stole anything, but she might have done. She decides to set up the spell shop on her island in order to bring magic back there and help the people grow and thrive. And it just sounds so cute. Honestly, it sounds absolutely adorable, and it says that there is a nosy and very handsome neighbour. Rebellion comes with risks, but sometimes starting over works like a charm. And just look at that cover. How could that not be a 5-star read? The next book that I've got is one that I'm actually disgraced with myself for not having picked up, because A Study in Drowning by this author was one of my top 5 books of last year, and honestly a book that I think about every single day of my life since I've read it. I own 3 copies of it now. I own the hardback, the paperback, special edition, and the ARC edition, which I was very kindly gifted by Violet. And I can't believe I did not pick up Lady Macbeth by Ava Reid the second I got this proof. Like, what is wrong with me, actually? I think it was kind of being intimidated because I loved A Study in Drowning so much that what if I did not love Lady Macbeth in the same way? But honestly, what I need to say to myself is that there is probably a chance I'm not going to love Lady Macbeth in the same way, because there was just something about A Study in Drowning that just spoke to my soul, and I can't even explain what it is. I just love that book more than life itself. But Lady Macbeth is the next one from Ava Reid, and this is actually meant to come out on, it says August 2024, so hopefully towards the end of the month, but I can't remember. But this is a reimagining of Lady Macbeth, who is Shakespeare's most famous villainess, and it's giving her a voice, a power, and a past. And what I love about Ava Reid's writing is that it's so immersive. You feel so immersed into the world, and it's so magical. Like, there is literally magic in her words. So I really need to pick up Lady Macbeth. I am planning to purchase the Fairy Loot edition that's going on sale at some time in August. I did set a reminder, but I can't remember the date, because I just have a feeling I'm going to love it. And the fact that I loved A Study in Drowning so much, and I read A Study in Drowning after the Waterstones edition had sold out, like with the special edges. Now I'm deep in regret that I don't own that, and all the ones on Vinted seem to be quite expensive, so I'm not missing out on the Fairy Loot edition for this, no matter whether I've read it or not. But hopefully I'll have read it beforehand. And the final book on my August TBR is one that I have been craving reading, and that is because I'm craving fantasy. And I've actually been buying up the other books in this series. So I own the first one. I also own the rest of this first trilogy. I own the first 2 of the second trilogy, and I own the first book of the 4th series in the world. You'll understand when I say what book this is. It's Assassin's Apprentice by Robin Hobb. I've been craving reading this because Robin Hobb is like the classic fantasy. It's like she's up there with George R.R. Martin and Joe Abercrombie and Robert Jordan in like classic fantasies that if you're a fantasy reader, you need to read. When I first started watching BookTube, when I first started watching Becca and the Books, she was in the middle of her Elderling along, so her read along of The Realm of the Eldlings, which is what this whole like massive series is called. And I was never that interested, but now that I'm a few years on from that and my tastes have changed a bit, for some reason I really want to read this. And yeah, I've bought 6 of the books in this Realm of the Eldlings without even reading the first one, just because I have a feeling that I'm gonna love it so much. So hopefully I do. But the reason I was buying all of them is because there are so many books in this Realm of the Eldlings that I don't want to buy them all at once, and you know, I don't want to read Assassin's Apprentice, want to binge the whole Realm of the Eldlings and not have them all. So I've been slowly buying them up, but I do need to read the first one to make sure I actually like her writing. So this one, I've got no idea what these are even about. I've heard they're quite slow-paced fantasies, which is actually really appealing to me. I wasn't really into slow-paced fantasies for a long time. I was really into like fast-paced YA fantasies, action-packed books, but the idea of a kind of slower-paced fantasy is actually really appealing to me at the minute. It feels kind of more gentle, almost. So Assassin's Apprentice is the first book in the Farseer trilogy. I know that if you're on BookTube, you probably know what these books are about. I don't. I've literally just picked them up on almost a whim without knowing what they're about. Apart from knowing, I think there's a lot of walking that happens and a lot of time spent in the main character's head, but I like the sound of it anyway. So the synopsis of this one, for anyone who doesn't know Robin Hobb. The kingdom of the Six Duchies is on the brink of civil war when news breaks that the crown prince has fathered a bastard son and is shamed into abdication. The child's name is Fitz, and he is despised. Raised in the castle stables, only the company of the king's fool, the ragged children of the lower city, and his unusual affinity with animals provide Fitz with any comfort. To be useful to the crown, Fitz is trained as an assassin, and to use the traditional magic of the Farseer family. But his tutor, allied to another political faction, is determined to discredit, even kill him. Fitz must survive, for he may be destined to save the kingdom. I'm so excited to read that. If I don't pick this up in August, once again, please yell at me, because A, it will stop me from buying the books if I don't like it, but B, this is one I need to read. I feel like this is going to be another book that speaks to my soul, just like A Study in Drowning. I feel it. I feel it. This is a fairly ambitious August TBR, but then saying that, I did read, or have read so far, 24 books in July. So maybe it's not that ambitious. Only 8 books on the TBR, but we'll see. So this is the August TBR. Let me know if there are any books that you think I really need to read from this stack. I think a lot of people are going to say When the Moon Hatched is one that I really need to pick up, and also Lady Macbeth. So that was my August TBR. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what books are on your August TBR as well, and if there's any other books that you know are on my shelves that I need to read in August. What book should I put on my August TBR if they're not on here? If you'd like to follow me on my Goodreads or my Bookstagram, the link to those will be down in the description below. Like this video if you liked it, subscribe if you wanna. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you very soon. Bye!